Hi, my name is Karina Holden. I'm a producer and director and I work in film and television. I grew up by the sea in Sydney in Australia, and the beach is it's been my backyard. I went to university and I studied science and conservation biology, and I came to understand just how important the ocean is as the key to our enduring survival. Life in the planet, it really only exists here because of the ocean, and yet we're almost completely unaware because of our reliance on the ocean to just keep things going without actually understanding how it is the fabric of life on Earth. So thinking about the ocean, many of you may live by the ocean. Like my little dog Bunny, you might like swimming in the ocean or visiting on holidays. But maybe some of you have never even seen it, and yet we are all connected to the ocean. Because if you think about it, when you take a breath, if you take one breath in and then you let it go, at least half of that air actually came from the ocean. And that's most of the carbon dioxide that you're breathing out actually gets absorbed again by the ocean. And yet when we look at it, it seems so vast and it's so blue, it's so perfect, it's so limitless. But when you go under the waves, there are things that are starting to change. And you may have heard of the ecological crimes that are occurring in our world, like the cutting down of the Amazon and the burning of the rainforests in Borneo. But there are shocking truths happening in our oceans. And for centuries, we've just taken it for granted. You know, we've overfished it, we've dumped in our oceans, we've just treated it as a commodity. We just assume that it's so great, it's so vast, it's too grand for us to be able to change. But it is changing. I made a film hoping to change the way that we think about the ocean and inspiring audiences to actions with positive solutions. Because I want people to think more critically about what we do with the ocean, about the fish we take out, about the pollution we let in, about the plastics that are filling our oceans, about the way it's fundamentally changing. And that film was called Blue, and I'd like to share with you the trailer for that film just now.
No matter where you live on our planet, you're connected to the sea. Yet in my lifetime, half of all marine life has disappeared. This is a hidden crisis falling on silent shores.
One, two, three, go! The marine world that I knew 40, 50 years ago, no young person today will ever see it. The barrier reef has changed dramatically over the years.
They're now one of the most threatened animals on Earth.
There it goes. There it goes.
The ocean has done so much for us. Now there's an opportunity to do something meaningful for the ocean. To offer it our protection.
The ocean is the mother of all life on this planet.
We can save our ocean and the life it supports, but it requires action.
This is our home, our future.
When you hold precious life in your hands, you can't help but feel we can do more.
Do you think one person can make a difference?
One person can make a difference.
What you may not appreciate is that our ocean is a powerful ally in the fight against climate change. It's shielding us from the full extent of the warming that's happening. So a healthy ocean is critical for life on our planet. In the last 200 years, the ocean has absorbed around 1/3 of all the carbon dioxide being produced by human activities, and it's absorbed over 90% of the extra heat being trapped in our atmosphere by the rising concentrations of greenhouse gases. Also, ocean vegetation, it can absorb 4 times more carbon than rainforests. So mangroves, salt marshes, seagrasses, they capture 1 billion metric tons of carbon every year. So we may be focused on saving the rainforests, but all the marine plants, they actually work much, much harder. And because of this, the ocean is helping to mitigate human-caused global warming and climate change. It's taking the heat for us. But it can't do this forever. By absorbing carbon dioxide and the heat to protect us, the ocean is actually destroying itself.
If the ocean continues to change, if the fundamental balance of its chemistry tips, if ecosystems continue to collapse, what will it mean for the life on our planet? Changing our climate changes our ocean. Changing our ocean changes our climate. The beauty here is not simply for our pleasure. It is where life begins and ends.
If the current rates of temperature continue to rise on the same trajectory as they are, by mid this century, the 21st century, the ocean will become too warm for coral reefs to continue to exist. And over summer, in places like the Arctic, it's going to be too hot for there to be ice at all. Those changes in sea temperature are affecting marine habitats and marine life because the animals are being forced to either adapt or they die. The increase in the carbon dioxide has started a process known as acidification, in which the very chemistry of life in the ocean is changing, which is important because remember those breaths we were taking? Everything starts from the ocean. So shifting away from fossil fuels will reduce climate change impacts not just on land but also on the ocean. And working towards renewable resources will reverse these problems. But to keep the ocean healthy, there's other practical things that we can all do with small choices that we all make every single day. So think about what you consume. Stop eating those unsustainable fish species and stop being wasteful with what you eat. Think about the way you consume and avoid those things like those single-use plastics, which means refusing shopping bags and not buying bottled water and not using straws and things that are just throwaway packaging.
So we're at Camilo Beach, at the southern tip on the big island of Hawaii. I think this is a site that the world needs to see. It's an incredibly remote beach, yet you walk along this shoreline and you see so much plastic. Plastic that has travelled from thousands of miles across the ocean, but it just happens to have come close enough to shore that the onshore trade winds have coughed up what the ocean no longer wanted. This is the world's rubbish. This is a glimpse at our love affair with plastic. If this is just the result of 50 to 60 years of our obsession with plastic, what's it going to look like in another 50? With over 7 billion people on our planet and most of us using plastic almost every day, and the ocean being downhill from everywhere, you've just got to do the math. The ocean is a sink for all this plastic. And when it gets into the sea, it doesn't just go away. It doesn't break down, it persists, fracturing into smaller and smaller pieces to become micro and nanoplastic. It's obviously a complex problem. We need plastic for our survival. We live in the plastisphere. It's shaped how we exist, but we can do things better. We can drastically reduce our use of single-use disposable plastic. Plastic is too precious to waste.
Future generations will say, what on earth were you thinking? Sucking this precious material from our Earth's crust, this petroleum, and using it for applications where we use it just once for a number of minutes or seconds.
We need to completely revitalise how we manage our waste. The dumping into the ocean that's happening right across the planet is completely unacceptable.
So I've talked a lot about the different things that appear in the film Blue, but if you want to find out more about Blue and also some of the resources that we have, you can have a look at our website. It's www.bluethefilm.org, and hopefully you'll find lots of things that you can share with other people, including your family, your friends, and other students. All the people who feature in Blue, they've got some great advice, so I'd like to share some of their thoughts with you too. And it's important to know that these are all people who have just, they've used their passion to get where they want to in life. They've become spokespeople for taking action on climate change and species protection and environmental protection, not because somebody else asked them to, but because they wanted to. So I think what they have to say is really inspiring, and I'd love you to have a listen to them.
The only way we can change this world is to work together. The first thing is to recognise we have a problem, let's start a conversation, and then do something about it.
You create change in the world through the most minute actions, whether it's a simple conversation with someone. People have had simple conversations with me that's made me change my path and do things that have changed the world. You just need to speak up and assume that when given the chance, people will do the right thing.
Being negative and pessimistic never got us anywhere. You've got to be optimistic. I know from the work that I've been doing in only a few years is changing things. And it's that change which fuels me and keeps me going.
Even sometimes when the war is lost, you don't give up the fight. You don't wave the white flag. So I think that we continue to fight, we continue to innovate, we continue to face this challenge head on.
We all make personal decisions on how we live our lives, and those personal decisions can make a huge difference, and it comes from a mindset too. Instead of thinking of yourself as just one individual in a whole world, think of yourself as part of a community with a common resource. We're in this together. It is one ocean. It's all one big interconnected ocean, and it's everybody's. And as soon as we all start collectively thinking that, this is our planet, and we all need to pull our weight, then yes, we're going to create change.
No matter what it is that you're passionate about, you therefore have a power to speak up for that thing more than anyone else. A few years ago, I would not have told you that one person can make a difference, but since then I've realized that one person can. As corny as it sounds, one person can absolutely make a difference.
No doubt. The only reason why my family ever recycled was because I went home and told my parents all about how important I as an individual felt recycling was, and that spread throughout the whole of my broader family. So an individual really truly can make a difference. We just have to be the person that we hope that others around us will be, and I think they'll follow suit.
I hope you found that inspiring. Remember, every individual can make a difference. Together, we all add up to make the citizens of this planet. So change begins with each of us deciding to make better choices and to contribute to our communities and to be mindful of the impact that we can have. So importantly, learn to use your voice to speak. It's one of your most powerful weapons in this fight, because not everyone will understand how critical this situation is and what we need to address. So they may think, oh, the planet can fix itself, or I don't have enough significance to make any difference to anything. But I hope that you all understand that we need to get beyond that kind of thinking now. We need to lead by example and be positive and confident in caring for our world. The good news is that the ocean has a great advantage. It's dynamic, it's interconnected, and it's a global ecosystem, so we all have a chance to impact it. And it can actually bounce back from those pressures because of that interconnectedness if we deal with these problems effectively. So we should always feel encouraged and stay positive about what we can do. My greatest hope is that the spark of passion that you have in your heart, like I have in mine, it will burn brightly, and it will keep you motivated to always fight for a future that puts the environment in the center of our decision making. So more power to you all, and thank you for being part of this amazing program.
No matter where you live on our planet, you're connected to the sea. The ocean drives climate, stabilizes temperature, provides most of our oxygen, and shapes the Earth's chemistry. We need many things to make the world a better place. But nothing else will matter if we fail to protect the ocean. Our fate and the oceans are one.